Good morning. This is Andrew here. I've got a special little video for you guys today. This is a question and answer video. I sent out an email a few days ago asking what are your top one or two questions or concerns about the SAT, both from a parent's perspective and from a student's perspective. And I got a question back from Cindy, and her question is, what are the best and most efficient ways to improve the score? The best and most efficient way to improve the score is to practice actual SAT practice questions. You can get those practice tests for free on the College Board website. The College Board is the folks who put together the test, so that would be the best way to go, is to get one of those free practice tests from their website. And I'll include a link to that down in the description of on this video, so that you can go and find those. And the other thing that will help with the efficiency is to really study in bursts. You don't want your students sitting down for hours on end just studying, because their brain's going to shut off at a certain point. You want them to study in small bursts and then go do something else, preferably outside. Go take a walk for a few minutes. For me, this working in bursts and then resting in short bursts tends to work somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes of straight work, and then 8 to 10 minutes of doing something else. You got going for a walk, playing a game on my phone, just something to get my brain off of what I was working on. Generally for teenagers, it's going to be a lot shorter than that, roughly around 15 to 17 minutes of studying, and then taking maybe a 5, 6, 7 minute break, and then getting right back into it. And I'd recommend that they simply use the timer on their phone for that, or a stopwatch, or whatever, to time you and to make sure that you're hitting those marks. And I don't mean you have to stop in the middle of a question you're working on when that timer hits, but just to give yourself a burst of study, and then a short little break just to reset your mind, and then jump right back into it. Now, the questions that Cindy's student had, a handful of questions. The first was, do wrong answers count against you? The answer to that question is no, they do not. In the past, they have, but that changed in 2016. Wrong answers used to count off a fraction of a point against you. Now they do not. And his other questions kind of go along with those. And they're roughly the same question, but the other questions are, should I try to answer every question even if I make a guess? And because wrong answers don't count against you, then yes, make a guess. Now, the thing about guessing, if you're down to say a minute left on that section, and you're going to have to put your pencil down, yeah, go ahead and fill out everything. You don't have time to look at each and every question. Just go ahead and bubble in something. Now, if you are still towards the beginning and you are working on something, and you realize you're spending a little too much time on one particular question, you've probably got it narrowed down a little bit, or you've at least got that question in your mind because you've been working on it. Go ahead and make a guess then, but I would just circle it in your workbook rather than bubbling it in. That way, when you go back towards the end, if you're running out of time, you can go back and say, okay, I've run out of time. I don't have time to go back and work on this later. The point of circling your guess ahead of time is just to go ahead and give you an educated guess while you already had everything from that question, from that problem in your mind. And that way, if you have time to go back and work on it, then you can sort of pick up where you left off, because you can remember what you were thinking about when you were working on that question. On the other hand, if you don't have enough time, then you can just go ahead and use your use your educated guess. Sorry about that. I dropped the phone. I don't have a tripod or anything, so we're just going to keep going here. But yes, definitely put down an answer for every question, even the fill in the blank questions. You may just have to make up numbers. I mean, try to answer those if you can, but if you can't, pick a number. 1, 7, 365. Put something in there, because you just, any point that you can get for a question that you haven't had time to get to is going to help you tremendously. So yes, guess. Don't leave anything blank. And the other question is, what subjects do you need to prepare for? Really and truly, the answer is just about everything. But as far as from the reading, comprehension, writing side of things, the best thing that you can do to prepare for that is to read and read and read and read. The main issue that I see students run into on the reading and writing comprehension sections are they either run out of time because they don't read fast enough to get through those passages. And the second thing is vocabulary. There's a ton of big words on there. There's going to be some words on there that you haven't seen. So working on vocabulary words. I still remember even back to middle school when my mom would take me and my brother to school. He was in elementary school, and between dropping him off and picking him up in the afternoon, waiting in the car line, my mom would pull out flashcards of SAT vocabulary words and go through them with me. And that was even back to 7th and 8th grade. So we were working on those vocabulary words when we had a few minutes here and there. You can learn a vocabulary word like that, and then it's with you. That's where I first learned what the word bequeath means. Now, would I have eventually learned what that word meant? Yes. Would I have learned what that word meant before I got out of high school? Probably not. But I learned what it meant, in middle school, because my mom took those couple of minutes here and there to go over those vocabulary words with me when we had a few minutes in the car. Now, on the math section, the subjects that you need to study, algebra's big. Algebra 1 mostly. There'll be a few trigonometry, algebra 2 type concepts on there, but you don't necessarily need to have those subjects, those high school subjects taken before you take the SAT. The big one that I recommend is geometry. If you can get it at least in geometry class, get part of the way through it, or have finished geometry class before you take the SAT, that's going to help you tremendously. And not just have taken and passed geometry, but really understand the concepts and understand all the different triangles and different shapes and angles and things like that. They really like to use those triangles and is most especially the special triangles, the 30, 60, 90, and the 45, 45, 90, and things like that there are ways that you can remember these things quickly, and it'll help you get through those rather quickly. I hope that answered all of the questions that you and your student had, Cindy. I'm gonna try to do at least one of these videos a week. So if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to leave those for me in the comments on this video, and I'll answer them in the next one. Or you can jump over to besttestscores.com. That's all together, all lowercase. That's besttestscores.com. Right now, if you click on courses, and actually I think if you just go straight there, it takes you directly to the course page. There are no live courses yet, but there's a place where you can put in your email address, and you can get on that list. You'll get a welcome email from me, and then you can send back your questions via email, and I'll answer your emails. And you'll also get notified through that email that live videos like this are happening, Q&As are happening. You'll be the first to know if you're on that email list that the courses are live on the website. And I really appreciate it if you guys would go over there, drop your email address so that we can be in touch, and subscribe to this channel so that you can get all the videos. You can be notified when I do live Q&As like this. And I look forward to working with you, to helping you get your best score yet. Thank you.